practice with. So I won't say that he didn't get throttled day in and day out at my practices. One year he was on my summer team and we went to a bunch of tournaments. How'd you do? Won and some year it was bad. He didn't win hardly any matches. But then when the season started, because of all the studs that he wrestled in the off season, he kicked butt during the real season. And anyhow, he ended up, by the time he graduated, he held records at his high school. He's still on the board for a few. Some of my kids keep knocking him down.
Yeah.
So I think everybody in front of him is a DeHart kid.
Yeah.
Yep. And so, except for Logan. But the rest. So anyhow, long story short, he went from terrible to great. And as you all know, our famous thing about us is a battle we went through for a few weeks about me making Brian clean his room. He wanted to make it to the state tournament, as I should, and he kept asking me, what more do I need to do? Well, I had him doing everything. Running, lifting, extra practices, everything you can do. There was really not a whole lot more physically he could do. But I was in his house, and I'd seen his bedroom. And his mom has to close the door when they have company. Because, and if you stare at the floor long enough, it will move. Okay? It may move on you. And then I was like, holy cow. So I said something, well, clean your room. He's like, that has nothing to do with wrestling. I said, well, I'm not going to wrestle you till you clean your room. So he comes back a couple days later, hey, come wrestle me. I'm like, did you clean your room? No, and to the point you were getting mad about it, weren't you?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, he wasn't happy. And I'm like, and this goes on for a couple weeks. Well, as the story goes, the tournament that he qualified for state at, you guys here call it regionals. We call it districts in Ohio. He had to wrestle a kid that had beaten him a bunch of times previously. And that kid had went to the state the year before. And Brian had to beat that kid to make it. I get a phone call, he's, almost emotional, tears, Coach, because I wasn't at his tournament, I was at a different one. I made state. And I was like, I'm on the phone, like, I was in Florida, wasn't I?
Yeah, you were in Florida.
I was in Florida. And I'm like, no way, oh, dude, awesome. And then, the biggest emotional voice you ever heard is, I cleaned my room. And, and what happened, and, I'm not going to put words in his mouth, but it came down to the days before the meet, and, he wanted everything that he could do, and nothing left to do except clean his room, and he cleaned his room, smoked the guy, 7-3, 8-3.
Yeah.
Wasn't even in wrestling against a good state guy. That's a solid win. And he just went out and he owned the guy like he'd never. And to this day, it's not the reason he made state, but I tell people it's one of the reasons that he was successful. He conquered something that he couldn't. He did not want to clean his room. He didn't see any relevance to cleaning his room and wrestling. Is there relevance?
Yes. Mind clear.
And then, my wife said, but I said this to our last class. It's been 30 years, right? 25, 26 at state since we had that deal. How many people have come up to you in the years, especially the last 5 or 10, and told you their kid cleaned their room before they went to a tournament?
Oh, every time I go to a tournament.
Every time he goes to a tournament, a parent comes up to him and says, hey, thank you. My daughter, she just took first at this tournament. She cleaned her room. I've heard people say it to him. I've been in the area when people come up and say this to me. What it means to conquer demons. Making yourself do something you don't want to do.
When you don't want to do it.
That's right.
That's what he did, isn't it? Did it work?
Yep.
Absolutely. So with Brian and I, that's a major breakthrough thing in our life that I've carried and maybe thrown it out, more than he cares for people. But
It's worth it.
he ran, he lifted weights, he worked hard. It wasn't just the cleaning his room, but there was one thing missing and he conquered it and it changed his life. So I'm gonna turn it over to Brian now, let him engage you and tell you a little bit more. And that's his and I's story of how we met 30 years ago. He moved to California for 20 years. Did our friendship falter? No. So I just want you to know what a good friend really is, okay? And this is, you know, I brag about my friends a lot, as y'all know. This is one of my boys. So give him your attention. Get him, Brian.
Thank you. Give a round of applause for your teacher here, Mr. Lee. I'm lucky to have such a great speaker like him. And, you know, another thing that we can talk about too is, if you do what's hard, your life will be easy. If you do what's easy, your life will be hard. So, that is one that, see, it was easy for me not to clean my room, but it made my life hard. Then I cleaned my room, my life got easy. See, you got choices every day. Is it gonna be a good, drinking a soda? Well, Coach drinks a lot of soda, but, you know, that could make if you drink too much, eat too much, that could make your life hard. If you get the water, if you make your life easy, right? Doing your homework at the time sucks, it's hard, right? But when you do it and you learn to do your math problems without a calculator, it'll make the rest of your life easy, right? I grew up without calculator. Mike asked me, or Coach DeHart asked me, Mr. DeHart asked me a question yesterday, math involved, and I was able to do my head because all the years I spent doing it the hard way. So in anything you do what's hard right now, and it'll make the rest of your life easier because you've already done the hard, and once you do the hard, it will be easy. So with that being said, yeah, Mike and I, or Coach DeHart and I, known each other for a long time, and I wanted to come in to you guys today and talk about, you know, yesterday you guys had a college thing where you looked at stuff and kind of talk about options that you got once you start, you know, getting older and kind of going along. One thing I was talking with the last class about is kind of starting to set your goals. So one thing that helps in sports is you have a goal. With the wrestling tournament, you want a goal. And so even right now, as seventh graders, is it seventh or sixth?
Seventh.
Seventh. Start thinking about what you want to do in the future, write down your goals. And then every day, it can be a small thing. For today, maybe you want to read one chapter. You can write that down. If you have a long-term goal, you know, maybe you want to be class valedictorian, maybe you want to go to college, maybe you want to start a business once you get out of high school. Right now, you can already start to kind of prepare yourself for that. So I want to do what I did last time. I want to get everybody's names first, if that's okay. So I know who I'm talking to. Let's begin with you, my man. Levi. All right, man. Jared? Jared.
Jared, T-H. Yep.
Jared, okay. Savannah? Chloe? Avery? Delaney? Cohen? Cool. Luca? Marco? Parker. Oh, Parker. Okay, Parker. Corbin? Matthias? Oh, cool.
Betsy.
I'm skipping you, man. Bentley. Betsy? Brody? Cool. Garrett? Ryan. Oh, like mine. Does anybody actually?
Ryan, not
Yeah, he's
Ryan.
Ryan with
Ryan.
an R.
Yeah.
I'm sure you get Brian every now and again, right? Sometimes if I don't say my B hard enough, I get Brian. So, okay, cool. Savvy? Oh, that's cool. S-A-V-Z. Savvy. Okay. Daniel? Connor? Alice? Liz? Okay, great to meet you guys. Great to meet you guys. So in this, has anybody here, just random question, anybody thought about what they want to do in the future? What kind of, let's just say you can close your eyes and imagine a perfect scenario and what you would like to do once you get out of school. Anybody thought that far ahead? Yeah, what you got? What is it? Making chocolate? Oh, okay, you're gonna have to send me some of that, okay. Good. Anybody else? Welding. That's a a great profession. Yeah. Make good money right out of school with that. Anybody else? Makes video games. Okay, perfect. He'll make the chocolate to eat while you're playing video games, and he'll weld it all together. Okay. Perfect. We always need those, especially me.
I want to be a crime scene investigator.
Ooh, CSI. I like it. It's great. Is that right? All right. Good, good. MBA. Forensic scientist, so similar to you, right? Cool, that's great. Lawyer? Yeah, I know a lot of lawyers, so I'll be able to help.
We'll talk about that in a bit.
Yeah, yeah.
Professional photographer.
Oh, cool. Cool. I love photography. I'm always taking videos and stuff, so that's great. Cool.
Did you know what you wanted to do at 13, Brian?
No, it was all a guess, right? It was, I didn't.
One day this, one day that.
Yeah, it
Right.
changes. It changes, and that's okay, and that's how it is, obviously. But I just wanted to get, because I come to places, or when I go to towns like this, is similar to my town, a little bigger here. But I like to tell people, because one thing that was hard in my town was a lot of people would say, "Well, you're from here, you can't do that." And in a lot of ways, I broke that, at least for myself, because I went somewhere that was 3,000 miles away, and it was a very hard profession to get into. But being from a small town worked in my advantage when I went to Los Angeles, because I have my own style about me, way about me, that was a little bit different, and for some of the parts, I was what they were looking for. And had I been from somewhere else, you won't have your own uniqueness. So, photography or making chocolate or welding, whatever, it's that you bring your own personality, your own style, because we're all unique in the way that, we all have a lot in common, right? You guys are all going to school, and there's kids everywhere going to school, but you have your uniqueness that you can bring to you, CSI, any type of thing that you do. So that's really something to remember, is that where you're from can always be your advantage, even if at times it might not feel that way. And when I moved to Los Angeles, I got met a lot of people because they found it interesting that I was from a small town, and a lot of them were from a big city, so it was kind of something interesting. And so when I ask about jobs and stuff, it's just to get your mind to think that how much you can do, and you can do more than others think you can do. And if you're told you can't do something, that's not true. You can do it. It just takes, and not everything goes exactly as we planned, but that's part of the fun, to learn and adjust. You might have a game plan. Coach might tell me, hey, you're wrestling this guy, you got to shoot on his legs, and he might stop me every time, but I can maybe get another move from it. So
You gotta change.
you got to change. So if you want to play, so one of the things I've done a lot of is commercials, and we're going to play you some commercials where I get to be a mechanic and some other stuff. And most of these roles that I played, I wouldn't actually know how to do the job in real life, but through your imagination, you can look like you know
That's
what
why
you're
you're an
doing.
actor.
Yeah.
So here's some things, and we haven't really seen a lot of these per se here, but these are a few commercials that Brian has been a part of, and just to show you what he does, for one of his sources of income and his lifestyle.
Hire a wheel repair brand in second to none. Your neighborhood submarine house street.
Johnny and Jody, how's the pizza hut? Oh, we got a new item here?
You're a dope athlete, or just like watching people be athletic. You might as well just put a rubber band around your finger and call it good. Dreams are sexy, tough, and have a lifetime guarantee, just like you. Because yeah. Come on, walk it off. If you're lifting weights or hot wings, game day won't stop the party. We mentioned lifetime guarantee. You have fingers and like sports, get a game day ring today.
So.
But right now, we're headed.
Those were, what was that, 4 commercials. So this one was funny because it's for Grismer Tires, which is do they have Grismer here, or?
Maybe in the bigger
Maybe in the bigger.
towns, Knoxville
Okay.
type thing.
Yeah, Yeah.
But now where was this at?
This was filmed in Dayton.
Dayton?
Yeah,
Okay.
that one.
Well, I told Ronnie, as I saw this commercial, Grismer Tires is a popular national tire, right? The Grismers are from my hometown, I went to school with them. So he did a commercial for a family that used to live in my hometown and started their business in Troy, Ohio. Nobody's talking. Oh,
Keep going. Okay. So, yeah, so on this, commercial, they wanted me to be a mechanic, right? I'm a mechanic. I had no idea how to be a mechanic, you know, so you just kind of, you know, faked it and made it work. And then, the next one was for, Submarine House, which was a popular restaurant around where we live. I don't know, you guys probably don't have it there. And then the other one was for Pizza Hut. And that one played during the Super Bowl this year, even though I wasn't on it very long. That was the best paid gig I had because it played during the Super Bowl. And then the final commercial about the rings, I got to do that because I met a guy at a wedding where I went to perform for a friend's wedding. And I went to the wedding to perform for free. Usually I would charge them to do that, but I said, I feel like if I go to this wedding, something good will happen. And then at that wedding, I met the guy who owned the sports ring company that we did the commercial for, which was pretty fun. So, and you know, one thing Mr. DeHart tells you is, or told me as a kid, that you always run into people throughout your life who have similar interests that will be able to help you when you start working, you know? So I would always look for wrestlers and, you know, people from Ohio or stuff like that. And you'll always find those people as you grow up and get older, and you guys can work together. And that's another way that I got some of these jobs and was able to do those. So that's kind of how we got going. And now I like to make films, and you know, with the way that cell phone and technology is, you guys can now be in control of creating stories, you know, which is great. So if you find somebody that you find of interest, you know, that's what I've done several films for the Easter Seals, which is they have disabilities, and I made stories about them. And that's something as a photographer and stuff you can kind of do. You guys have any questions or anything? Anybody? No? Okay, cool. So, yeah, and there's a saying I was talking earlier about. It's called the road to success is always under construction. The road to success is always under construction. Now, does that mean anything to you guys? What it might mean for the road to success being under construction? So, for instance, let's suppose that we want to accomplish a goal. You know, we want to be crime scene investigators. And there's a way to get there, but along the way, maybe something might pop up. Maybe, you know, we get sick the night before our exam, or something could come along the way. Somebody could get hurt, but you got to keep going. So no matter what's thrown in your way to success, there's obstacles, hurdles, detours. You keep going, keep pushing yourself ahead, keep going forward. And when I first met Coach DeHart, I had that T-shirt on the back of it that said, "The road to success is always under construction." So as you guys go on, and maybe something in your life happens, and it's hard to deal with, that's just an obstacle. Keep going. You know, if something gets in your way, keep going forward. And of course, do that while being kind to the people around you. But keep moving forward on that. So, and, so also, maybe Mike told you, I left college, or left Ohio at a pretty young age. And that's another thing I think, don't be afraid to take chances, especially when you're young. not crazy chances, don't be jumping off of bridges or anything into the waterfalls, okay? But if you feel something, sometimes you'll hear a voice or you'll have a feeling inside telling you to do it, and you can do it. You know, for me, it was moving from my hometown to California. Maybe it's for you, you're gonna move here to Texas, or maybe you're gonna stay here and you're gonna start a bakery, or you're gonna stay here, start a welding company, you know, stay here, you know, do mechanic, start making chocolates. So if you have a feeling, go for it. And doesn't matter what anybody might say to you as far as, like, maybe you can't do it, you can do it. So you can do anything that you really put your mind to doing. And when you have tough times, which they'll come, just stay focused, keep moving forward, and accomplishing all your goals. Anyways, curious to see if anybody can relate to any of that stuff. Anybody in here ever had a goal that you thought you would never get, and you get? What was it for? Oh, you guys did, and they said you wouldn't do it.
Well, no, my brother kind of had to think about it. He said you're not going to do this year.
And you did. And you went to the conference.
We got something.
Oh, that's fantastic. Any other players on your team here?
No.
This room?
They were gonna do it, but did.
Okay, well, there's always next year. So that's a good example. Is so people were telling you, and even your own brother, a member of your own family, was telling you, you're not gonna make it. Your football team's not gonna make it, and you made it. Okay. So you overcame. And now, one thing you did too is you said, we're gonna make it, right? We're gonna go and do it. And that's another important thing, is to tell what your goal is. Whatever you wanna do is, you say it to people. And they might say, oh, you're not gonna do that. But you can prove them wrong. And if you say it out loud to the world, the universe, it will hear you and help you get your goal. Anybody else accomplish a goal that people say you want to do? Oh, come on, yes.
You on the conference for wrestling?
Wrestling. Oh, love it, dude. And people said you want to do it, and you made it. And you had was coach helping you at the time, or training him? No, you just did it. You said, I'm going. What weight class were you?
130.
Oh man, that's good. Great.
Play second in conference.
Second? Wrestling? Oh, cool.
This is my first year.
It was your first year. Same with the first year for you. Good. Good. Anybody else? You guys have anything? Stories where you? Well, you will. You're pretty young. You'll have more. Yes, Ryan. You did. You did. Well, what events? Oh, that's business, huh? Good for you. Keep going. Keep going. Yeah, so see in this room, there's people that were told you you couldn't do something, and then you can make it happen. So don't ever let somebody else's opinion of you determine who you think of you is, who you feel you are. You know, it's all about who you are, what you can believe. And set your goals high, because there's a quote that's really great. Aim for the moon, because if you miss, you'll still be in the stars. Does that make sense to you guys? Aim as far as you can, because if you miss, you'll still be in the stars. You know, aim for champion. If you miss, you'll still be right up there at the top. So, yeah. Now, do you guys watch movies? Okay. So I'm gonna tell you while we're on this, another job I had. Worked as a stand-in. Does anybody know what a stand-in in a movie is? No? Okay. Stand-in, you mimic the main actor while they set up the lights and the camera. Okay, so you're working on a movie set, there's a lot of people there, and the main actor is doing a scene. You watch them, and then you mimic them so that can fill in for him so the camera guys can set the lights to the camera. And I worked for this one actor, Matthew McConaughey. You know who he is? Matthew McConaughey. Famous actor, easy to mimic. He just walks around all day going, all right, all right, all right. Where do I stand? Shirt on or off, right? And we were filming, and I got to meet this guy who was always giving me advice on life, you know. And so we worked on a movie called The Lincoln Lawyer. I don't know, you guys probably don't even remember that because it was, you guys were probably 10 years old. What year were most of you guys born?
2000.
Okay, so you were just born at the time, man. Okay, so so anyways, an old movie called Lincoln Lawyer. I worked on that with him, and so he was a fun guy to work with because he was fun to mimic and imitate. All right, yeah, that real country drawl, you know. And he saw me, and I was talking to a girl, and he was running by and waved, and I seen him the next day. He's like, "Hey man, I see you talking to a woman and a dog." So that was Matthew McConaughey. Worked on another movie. Anybody seen Fast and Furious 7? Saw that one? Fast and Furious 7. Huh? Yes, you know about that. Coach DeHart told you? Yeah. Yeah. So I worked on that. Was a fun movie to work on. And a lot of, you know, at the time I had 10. Since then, Coach probably told you I lost part of his fingers in a little boat accident. And at the time of that movie, though, my hands were perfect. And I used to show that movie off to people. And I'd be like, those are my hands. And they didn't believe it. Now they definitely don't believe it. But yeah, that was Fast and Furious 7. And that was a really pretty interesting movie because Paul Walker's brothers filled in for Paul, and they used CGI to make them look even more like him. And he said in some of the scenes, they used me as the double in those movies. So that was really great. And now I'm still doing wrestling. So, you know, you talk about goals and stuff, and people tell you what you can't do. When I was 39 years old, I started wrestling again after 20 years. And I've been doing that for 6 years, and I've actually been getting better as I go. So if there's something you want to do in life, it's never too late. You just keep going, and you'll be good to go. So if you now we got my fiance in the back there, Carolina, and she is from a country called Honduras. You guys know where Honduras is? Yeah. You know, I didn't either. When I met her, I was at a Starbucks in Miami, and the guys, if you ever see a cute girl at the coffee shop, walk up to her and say, hey, okay? You don't want her to just walk away and you never see her again. So, okay, don't do it on the internet and text. Walk up, politely say, hey. And so she was at Starbucks. I was at Starbucks. I had a comedy show in Miami. She was in Miami for a job. And I said, hey. And then I asked her where she was from, and she told me Honduras. And like you, I didn't know where Honduras was. So I said, where's Honduras? And she said, it's in Central America. It's like, oh, that's crazy. Because I'm from Central America. Ohio is in the center of America. So we met there, and then we stayed in touch, and we used she was in Honduras, so you guys have FaceTime app, WhatsApp. So I messaged her on WhatsApp, and then I went to her country in Honduras, and it was a very beautiful country, a lot different than here, but it kind of looks similar to the Smoky Mountains actually. And then she came back here to Ohio to see me after I went to Honduras, and she helped me clean my room. So I was like, well, I'm definitely marrying her because that means I can win more wrestling tournaments. And so that's kind of how we met, and which was pretty cool. Now, do you guys know the actor Adam Sandler?
Yeah.
Okay, Adam Sandler. Okay, so you don't know him? Oh, he's good. Well, you should look out for some of his movies. Huh? He's funny. He's good. Yeah, he's good. So I got to meet him once at after a comedy show. He came up to me and said, "Man, you're funny." I was like, "Whoa, dude, that's," because I like, you know, it's like, and the funny thing is, I knew he was in the crowd, so I was trying to be like him when I was performing. So that's probably why. So that's pretty good. Now, how many people here play sports? Most of the class, okay. How many artists do we have? And one NASA astronaut. And yeah, good. And with the people who play sports, can I see the hands again? What all sports do we have here? Football, wrestling,
Football.
okay. Band, okay. That counts. That counts. To me, it is. You got it. Yeah, you're hearing it.